Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. I think I need to redo some of my lighting. Mm, um, so I know I keep saying this is going to be like the last time I record in this place. It's not. It's not. We have a few things to do. We have a few things to do in terms of everything going on. But here we are going to talk about the patch that hits tomorrow. I'm not going to get too deep into it. Just know that it is a great catch up patch, especially for your alts. You're going to be able to essentially get that all of them fully geared in the elemental overflow gear, whether or not you're going to be able to get them all upgraded through storm sigils nobody's talking about, but of course you'll see the videos that say really easy 424 item level ring. Yeah. My main thing about that is just have your jewel crafter and I think enchanters ready. Jewel crafters mainly because while you're doing a thing, you have to spawn a rare and kill it in order to get the needed recipe to be able to get the upgrade item for your stones, which we are going to go into. And we are going to go into some of the final math here, since some people said it's not going to be that powerful. I want to go over how powerful this can be. And we will just pop over here. This does talk a little bit about the vaults. People were calling this Torghast 2.0. It's not. It's not. It's not Torghast. You're not fighting. You just get keys by killing stuff. You get 6. You go in here to get the get the stones for the necklace. You can get some pets. You can get some toys. You can get some random stuff that talks about, oh, hey, this is what's happening. Um, Here's the stones. Now you can take, if you have a stone that you don't want, for example, a stone that does stuff on healing, you can crush it for 6. You do need to crush 2 stones to be able to get enough to buy a random primordial stone of a different family, which, meh, um, you can, you know, separate out the stones so you don't have to constantly farm and replace them. You can upgrade them uh, by jewel crafters, obviously, um, and it's fine. So we are going to go into here, the primordial stone family. So the fire magic is the main damage dealer. Dealing damage has a chance to set the enemy on fire, dealing 17,000 fire damage over 7 seconds. So you figure that's about 2,000. If that buff was on constantly, that would be 2,000 DPS. It's not on constantly. So you figure that's 2,000 damage out of that 7 seconds. Divide that by 60. That's a 20 something DPS. Okay. Here. Yeah. Absorbing damage has a chance to coat you in lava, causing melee attackers to take damage. Successful interrupts exhale smoke, causing you to deal 6,800 damage to enemies within an 8-yard cone. Fire damage dealt by primordial stones is increased by 60% and is now chaos damage. Um, that's just really powerful with some of these, but you're going to be working on combinations and finding which ones work best. And I think once we get down to Earth Magic, we'll figure out like the literal best combination. At least for DPS, I can't say anything about healers. For Frost Magic, this is of course going to be the healing family. Abilities have a chance to heal nearby allies for 26,000 over 6 seconds. It's a decent dot. You're dealing about 4,000 healing per second. Freezing Ice Stone, dealing damage, has a chance to chill the enemy, dealing 16,000 frost damage and slowing them for 6 seconds. Cold Frost Stone, gain a frost shield every 20 seconds that absorbs damage and slows melee attackers. Exuding Steam Stone, receiving heals has a chance to exude steam. Okay. Earth Magic. Taking damage has a chance to shield yourself, absorbing 32,000 damage for 12 seconds. So if you look at this and you want to be really defensive, like a really defensive tank, you can get very, very powerful shields very quickly. Then, of course, the Shining Obsidian Stone, which is something that all tanks will take. Gaining an absorb shield from a primordial stone erupts the ground, dealing 25,000 physical damage split between enemies in 5 yards. Damage is increased for each enemy struck up to 5 enemies. So when I first looked at it, it was only 17,000. Now, we will we'll take this into account with some of the stones we already saw. We'll get into the new stones after this. So if we take that and standing still for 3 seconds, that's a guaranteed absorb, right? It's a guaranteed absorb. Whether or not you can proc it again before that 25-second mark, who knows? Okay, so you've got one for 3 seconds. You've got one for, around 6 seconds. You've got one every 20 seconds, right? Now, we'll say that you have the Cold Frost Stone and the Gleaming Iron Stone along with the Shining Obsidian Stone. Well, the Cold Frost Stone is 3 Absorb Shields. That means that Shining Obsidian Stone will proc 3 times. And we will nerf the damage, saying that it deals only 20,000. So that is 60,000. So that is 1,000 DPS increase. Okay, average players are dealing about 50,000 DPS on single target fights. That's a 2% increase. Not taking into account standing still every 3 seconds. You know, eh, we'll say that can proc 3 times, right? We'll say that maybe that can proc 3 times. So again, another 1,000. So it's about 4%. Then we get into nature magic. Critting an enemy has a chance to shock them, dealing 9,000 nature damage. That's very powerful for something like a fire mage. Moving builds an electrical charge, causing your next damaging ability to also deal 14,000 nature damage. This is very deterministic and very useful on very mobile classes, such as Demon Hunter or Hunter. Nature and healing effects from primordial stones restore 7,602 health. That's okay. Dealing damage has a chance to infect a target with a plague that spreads, dealing 9,000 nature damage. Okay. Moving rallies the wind, granting 93 speed, stacking up to 5 times. That is a lot of speed. It is kind of useful, maybe in arenas or PvP, not really in raid encounters. Um, of course, you've got arcane magic. Frost effects from primordial stone restore mana. Dealing magic damage has a chance to fire arcane missiles for each primordial stone family you have equipped, each dealing 8,000 arcane damage. So you can have up to 3. So that's going to be dealing 24,000 damage. Entering combat increases the tertiary stats of you and 4 nearby allies by 364 for 8 seconds. What are the tertiary stats? They're avoidance, leech, and speed. They're kind of powerful, but not, something that people are like, oh my god, that's amazing. Spells and abilities have a chance to cast a random primordial stone effect. I think that might just be something fun. Because you'll either end up healing somebody or end up damaging somebody or buffing somebody, right? Then you get shadow magic. This first one, being near a dying creature saps a portion of their mojo and eventually crystallizes it. I think that might be something for leveling. Prophetic Twilight Stone. Being damaging effects from your primordial stones triggers one of your healing effects and vice versa. That's interesting. That can be very interesting, right? It depends on if your healing effect is also would that count as an absorb? Because then you could take an absorb stone, the damaging stone, and the twilight stone, and you could proc constantly. But I highly doubt that counts. Once every minute, moving near a corpse grants the equip effect of Desirous Blood, Cold Frost, and Pestilent Plague Stones. Um, Already having one of these effects instead increases its effectiveness by 75%. So, of course, Desirous Bloodstone is the only one, right? The only one that's there, right? Because I don't think there's a Pestilent Plague Stone, but we'll look that up here in a second. Dealing damage has a chance to drain life, dealing 12,000 shadow damage, and healing you. So we are looking for Cold Frost and Pestilent Plague. Okay, dealing damage has a chance to inflict the plague, dealing nature damage. Okay, and then Cold Frost. Gain a Frost Shield. Ooh. Oh, you beautiful bastard. Hmm. Necromantic. Well, you have to move near a corpse. That's not too powerful, right? Then, of course, we get class tuning. No one cares. Early access. No one cares. You guys kind of get the gist of all this, right? I'm not going to go into that. The idea is that the amulet we've seen can give you at least a 4% DPS increase just by some of the stuff we don't know the proc rate. Obviously, it could be amazingly more, and you definitely want to be adding some of that, some of those firestones, because you have the Airnog ring, which deals a lot of damage when you deal fire damage. And maybe, just maybe, and I know this might be difficult for some people to accept, maybe you don't want to use an embellished slot for a piece of gear that doesn't have good stats and isn't as high an item level as other stuff you have. I hate the Midwest right now, man. I hate the Midwest. Um, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm just a player that's really good at math. I'm not one of those people that like you know looks at stuff as like no 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 it won't do this and then is constantly wrong because every time there's an added power system in the game it's completely unbalanced, and of course we get things that Blizzard doesn't anticipate. I mean, it's guys, it's not like corruption was extremely unbalanced, right? Right? It's it's not like the stones from uh, the Sylvanas raid were completely unbalanced, right? That was all balanced. That was all okay. Yeah, no, it's completely different. Completely different, right? Totally different. I will talk to you guys later. Have a fun day.